Hello everyone. So finally today we are going to discuss about the technique to boost the immunity during this pandemic, that is through pranayama. It is advisable to practice the physical postures or asanas before getting into pranayama to stabilize the body before stabilizing the breath via pranayama. Breath is the one which is very close to us, which is tangible, believable, understandable and controllable. Through the normal inhalation and exhalation, one is able to sustain and it impacts the thoughts and emotions. At the same time, the breath gets impacted based on the actions, emotions and the thoughts. So this is happening for everyone every day, yet many of us are not aware of this existence of the breath or not conscious about the breath. Pranayama is a precise science which gives the method to understand the essence of prana and to guide it within oneself and also to the rest of the creation. One who understands or controls this essence will have the control over his body, mind and also control over others' body, mind and the entire creation. The medium of pranayama is breath and the practices involve guiding the respiration beyond its normal limit, that is by stretching it, speeding it up and slowing it down. The pranayama science says the involuntary movement of the process of the breath can be made it as a voluntary process. The word pranayama has two etymological explanations. It has been interpreted as prana plus ayama or prana plus yama. Ayama means expanding in the dimension. So here pranayama means considered as expanding the dimensions of the prana, whereas other explanation is prana plus yama, where yama is restraint or control, that is controlling the breath. Prana is a force which is in a constant motion. Hence, if pranayama is considered as prana plus yama, that is a cessation, the only way to control a moving force is by stopping it to the extent of complete cessation. So which is also called as retention of the breath or kumbhaka. The other word which is ayama, that is the expansion of dimension of this book, is by expanding the breath, that is, which will in turn expand or increase the quantum of prana in one's body. Breathing is a process which happens unconsciously, but it can also be made as a conscious process. The other unconscious processes includes like heartbeat, metabolism or body temperature for an average person. Whereas some of the yogis are able to control their heartbeat or stop their heartbeat for a certain amount of time, or they are able to control their body temperature. I have shared a small video clip where you can see a yogi being sitting in Himalaya snow in a bare body, where he is able to control his body temperature. The unconscious breathing is controlled by medulla oblongata in our brain stem, which is also known as the primitive brain. Whereas conscious breathing comes from the more evolved regions of the brain, that is cerebral cortex. Thus, conscious breathing engages cerebral cortex and stimulates the more evolved areas of the brain. During conscious control of the breath, the cerebral cortex bypasses the respiratory center in the brainstem, and also cortex sends the impulses which impacts the adjoining areas of the brain related to the emotions. Conscious breathing begins with the awareness I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Thus, awareness is the aspect of the consciousness and breath is the vehicle of the prana. In this way, both consciousness and prana are moving together. Awareness of the breath means one is simultaneously aware of the consciousness. Conscious breathing also calms the mind. That is, even a simple breathing with awareness has a very relaxing effect. This is a very effective technique to quieten a tensed mind. The more complex breathing technique of pranayama influences the mind even more deeply. There is no technique than pranayama which has an immediate impact on our nervous system, brain and mind. The actual pranayama is kumbhaka, that is retention of the breath, duration of the retention of the breath. So the guiding inhalation and exhalation which aids in the kumbhaka irrespective of where it has been applied. That is, in certain practices, kumbhaka or retention of the breath is done after the inhalation or retention of the breath is done after exhalation. It has been described there are three stages of pranayama. One is adama, which produces only the sweat, madhyama, which produces tremor and also the sweat, and uttama, which produces levitation. So during initial stages it may be difficult for one to retain the breath, but in the course of regular practice it becomes more smoother, easier, and we can retain the breath for longer duration of time. And also it will be easy for people who are in certain yogic practices, and it may be lucky for some people whose kundalini has been activated at the first attempt itself. They will be able to retain the breath. However, this has to be practiced in a very systematic way, irrespective of whatever may be the initial experiences. In the systematic practice of the pranayama, it is important, the first important aspect is the ratio, balanced ratio of the breath. And also the timing has a very huge impact on mind and prana. It is said that if one practices 5 rounds of Nadi Shodhana with absolute precision in the timing, he will be able to attain the state of Laya. The ancient yogis who propounded this technique of pranayama was very mindful about this fact, and they devised various techniques to measure this pranayama. In the absence of the clock in the olden days, they measured in terms of mantras. For example, like twinkling of an eye, or one touching their limb for 3 times and clapping, or time taken for pronouncing a vowel, or time taken to pronounce a syllable, secret syllable. In olden days, this was practiced under the guidance of the guru or the expert, hence the precise balance was obtained. Even with the invention of the clock, it would be difficult to perform by watching the clock or counting the numbers in the mind. Hence, it would be more precise by pronouncing the mantra or repeating the mantra in the mind. That is 24 syllable Gayatri mantra is preferred. That is 1 repetition of mantra, Gayatri mantra while inhalation, and 2 repetition of Gayatri mantra during exhalation. So if it is difficult, or if one finds this Gayatri mantra is too long for the repetition, a smaller mantra can be used instead of Gayatri mantra. Along with the time, space is also considered in pranayama. The measure is the force with which the inhalation and exhalation is practiced. That is, the expelled air is felt at a specific distance from the nose. With respect to space, the pressure of the air needs to be uniform for both inhalation and exhalation, and it needs to be smooth. Inhalation and exhalation needs to be smooth, and the length of the exhalation should be double the inhalation. It is okay to practice both inhalation and exhalation of the same length in the beginning. So it is said that one needs to be very mindful during the practice of this pranayama. The various pranayamas are obtained by modulating the inhalation, exhalation and retention of the breath. Out of these, there are 9 classical pranayamas which are mainly practiced, known as Nadi Shodhana, Bhastrika, Kapalabhati, Shitali, Chandrabheda, Surya Bheda, Brahmari and Ujjayi. Some of these heat up the body while others cool the body. Some of them stimulate while other harmonize and relaxes the nervous system. Nadi Shodhana is for balancing, while Kapalabhati and Bhastrika is for activating. Similarly, Brahmari and Ujjayi is for relaxing, when Surya Veda and Murcha is to increase the internal body temperature, and Chandra Veda and Shitali